Martin Luther said the letter of James shouldn't be in the New Testament because it's not a Christian document, and it's true. It isn't like other Christian documents. It isn't. It's more like the Dead Sea Scrolls. In any event, that's what's going to come up here from Habakkuk 2:4. But before it does, we have, if it tarries, wait for it will surely come and not delay. Its interpretation concerns the men of truth, the doers of the Torah, whose hand will not slacken from the service of truth, though the final age be prolonged before them. Again, it applies only to the doers of the Torah. It doesn't apply to other people. In this group's view, you can say, well, I don't agree with it. Okay, you don't have to, but that's how they see it. Because all the errors of God will come to their appointed end as he determined in the mysteries of his intelligence. Behold, his soul is puffed up, not upright within him. Its interpretation that their sins will be doubled upon them, and they will not be pleased with their judgment. And now we get, and the righteous shall live by his faith. Habakkuk 2:4. Now, if you know Paul in Corinthians, he speaks in chapter 8, 1 Corinthians, about the leadership being puffed up with their own importance, that is. But the proper way is to love, because love builds up, as he puts it. And so he as he starts talking about the people with weak consciences, the leaders, who will not eat things sacrificed to idols because they're so weak, and therefore he will never eat vegetables again, or he will never eat meat again, so that these people eat only vegetables, he says in Romans. But because they're so weak and they have scruples, conscience to him is the law, he will never eat meat again in their presence, he means. But when they're not around, he says, all the food in the butcher shops, eat everything. For me, there are no forbidden things. So he uses the word puffed up to describe them. Now here the word puffed up applies to that is to describe the leadership of his own church. The ones above him, like James. But here the word puffed up is applied to people who are going to get punished, that they will not be pleased with their judgment, because their sins will be doubled upon them. And the righteous shall live by his faith. Its interpretation concerns all the doers of Torah in the house of Judah, who God would save from the house of judgment because of their works and their faith in the righteous teacher. Now look at that. Right earlier we heard that the prolongation of the final age applied to the doers of Torah, whose hand would not slacken from the service of truth, though the final age be prolonged. Here this is eschatological. The doers of Torah in the house of Judah. There was no word for Jews in these documents. They didn't know a word for Jews. House of Judah is an archaism for Jews. All the doers of the Torah in the house of Judah. That means that's who it applies to. It doesn't apply, I don't want to be harsh on this, in their view, this Habakkuk 2:4, the most important passage in Scripture for early Christian theology, does not apply to non-doers of the Torah in the house of Judah. It doesn't apply to doers of the Torah outside the house of Judah, and it certainly doesn't apply to non-doers of the Torah outside the house of Judah. Now I say to you, that is framed as if with someone in mind who is applying this passage to non-doers of Torah outside the house of Judah. To me, that is internal evidence that shows you that we're in the midst of a very serious theological argument. I'll pick this up after the break. Let's see if we can finish up Habakkuk. Hope this is going to help you in your military service out in Afghanistan and places. Hope this will help you in your PhD thesis, and some of the rest of you. You guys want to, as I said, keep in touch with me. Put your emails in the end of your exam, and anyone who has special pleading, like you didn't look at me, you didn't understand how wonderful I was, I need this grade, this course lost me, it was too hard, I didn't have the background. I mean, I'm open to special pleading. I believe in taking pity on students. I have nothing to lose to help students. I'm not here to hurt students. All I want students to do is put in a good effort and show me that you're tried. And, you know, you can do notes now and get notes together and put something out on that test that sounds like you've done something, you know. Yeah, for 3 by 5, 2 by 4, 6 by 10. Don't bring all your notes. Bring about 10 cards or something if you have that many, 5, whatever. Okay, so this implies Habakkuk 2:4 to the doers of the Torah in the house of Judah. Why would they say that? There must have been some people going around saying that Habakkuk 2:4 applied to doers of the non-doers of the Torah outside the house of Judah. It seems to me. Why would they say that? Why would they restrict its application? Now, I'm not arguing for them. I'm not. People, believing Christians in the room, don't be angry at me for pointing this out. I'm not saying that the person that you respect the most is wrong and these people are right. I'm just saying there's a conflict between these two groups. And that you can see there is a conflict between these two groups. Habakkuk 2:4 is the most important passage in with Genesis 15:6. Abraham, again, believed on God and it was counted for him as righteousness. Paul picks up both passages in Galatians and to some extent in Romans, and Hebrews picks up Habakkuk 2:4 as well. So, you know, those are the building blocks of Pauline Christian faith. And here it is in the scrolls. God will save them from the house of judgment because of their works and their faith. It really says Amal. Now, Amal is a word in Isaiah 53:11, the passage most Christians apply to Jesus' suffering death. And something that he was saved by his Amal. Usually it means suffering works in the suffering servant passage in Isaiah 53:11. But any believing Christian or knowledgeable Christian in the room will know what Isaiah 53:11, that's the third basic building block of Christian theology. Isaiah 53:11, Genesis 15:6, Habakkuk 2:4. Those are the three big passages upon which the picture of Jesus and the faith in Jesus are built. Habakkuk 2:4, Genesis 15:6, Isaiah 53:11. Now, Vermesh thinks that this is some sort of trial that the righteous teacher or